As you've probably noticed by now, our motto here at PFS is our support, your success. That truly is our goal, because we do not see ourselves as being successful unless you are successful as well. Today we're going to preview our reporting portal for our order management system. We'll review this package and show you why this system is a vital piece in helping us attain our goals. So as you can see on my screen, we'll go ahead and sign on. We're here at pfsreports.fran-track.com, and you can access this website from any device, including your cell phone. When you log in, you automatically go to our dashboard, and I'm going to go ahead over here on the right-hand side and click on Dashboard Setup, which will allow me to select the date that I want to preview. So I'm just going to look at yesterday's date, and I'm going to look at our location Champs 4. So I'll hit update and it's going to automatically refresh for us. And the dashboard, you can get a quick overview of your daily sales information. So if I hover my mouse over this graph of sales by meal period, I can see that lunch accounts for about 43% of my daily sales. If I expand the graph by clicking on this little box, it's going to give me a little more detail without having to hover. So I can see during breakfast I had $232, which is about 28% of my daily sales. And this also gives you an overview of waste for the day if your employees are tracking that properly. Next, we're going to pop over to our sales by hour. And you can see here I have the dollar amount of my sales along with the number of transactions. I can also expand this graph to get the detail, and I have the option up here at the top if you have a people counter to turn the traffic count on. When I toggle this button on, it's going to give me a nice screen overlay that shows me how much traffic I have coming into my store. So this provides a great overview. Our hope and goal here is that as your traffic increases, so do your number of transactions. And it looks like this store does a great job of capturing their traffic. Again, if I expand this down, we can see at the 7 o'clock hour, we're capturing 26% of our customer base. And then during the noon hour, we're actually capturing close to 37%. So that's great numbers there. This graph can provide a lot of information. We had a couple of stores that actually expanded their hours once they got the people counter in. This particular location was opening for breakfast at 7, and when they got the people counter installed, they noticed that they actually had a good flow of traffic during the 6 o'clock hour. So they were able to open an hour earlier and capture an additional $125 a day during breakfast. This location has a sister store, and the other location was staying open until 7 p.m. in the evening. But they actually noticed that after 6 o'clock on everyone's drive home, they really didn't have a lot of traffic coming into the store. So they actually shortened their hours so that they weren't having to pay their staff when there weren't any sales coming in. So again, lots of good information that can be provided just by looking at the sales by hour and utilizing those traffic counts. So if we scroll down, we also have sales by menu item. And wow, you can see here that the one-piece chicken tender is by far the biggest mover at this location. I'll go ahead and expand the graph out because again, it gives us a little more detail without having to hover. And you can see here that the one-piece chicken tender, they sold 102 of those. They sold 24 fish dippers. The sausage, egg, and cheese is a big mover during breakfast. But again, if you're having any problems hitting those profit margins, this is a great place for the BA to go through and review your sales with you. We had a location that they were just falling a little shy of where they wanted to be with their profit margins. Their goal was to hit that 50% mark. So what we did is we went in and we targeted these top 5 movers. And by just simply increasing each of the top 5 10 to 20 cents, we were able to capture an additional $1,200 in sales that month, and we didn't see a decline. So that was good information. We do incorporate your store items into these sales so that we can help you identify any problems that you might have with that. At this particular location, we were selling our dollar chicken tender for $1.49, and we noticed that they also had corn dogs in here, and corn dogs were going for $1.79. So since they're similar size as far as protein, we tried to increase the price over a period of time. We increased the price to $1.79, and once again, we didn't see any decline in those chicken tender sales. So this graph can also show you your slow movers, items that we may want to remove from your menu. So that's a quick overview of the dashboard. We'll go ahead and move over to the Reports tab, and in the drop down we'll click on Daily Sales. And we'll go ahead and just look at yesterday again. Well, actually on this one, I'll just look at this month. And we'll continue with our Champs 4 location. Okay, so this is a great graph as a business manager to look at because it provides you a quick overview of your sales, and you can look at several days for comparison. So we have it broken out by Champ sales, Blue Taco, your store items will be here, and Champ sales does include both hot and cold case sales. And then we give you your total sales for the day, and we also are displaying waste. So if they're tracking waste, that information is on here. So at a quick glance, you can see your sales and your waste for the day and know where things stand. And it also gives you a nice subtotal so you can see where you're at for the month. So this is a good report to reference on a daily basis. We'll go back up to reports and go to sales. And here we have a few more detailed reports. So I'll go ahead and look at yesterday for Champs 4. And I'm just going to go through a few of these with you. We'll start with the sales by menu item. And this is very similar to the dashboard report, but it does have a nice search feature over here on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my chicken tender. And you can see it's bringing up all variations of our chicken tender from the menu. So we have our 8-piece chicken tender, our snacks, value meals. So if you're ever thinking that you may possibly have a theft problem and you're wanting to tie it back to inventory, this is a great report to utilize. You can see here we could take 3-piece chicken tender times 5 to know that there's 15 chicken tenders, and we can tie it back to the quantity in the case and know if we're on track or not. I'm going to go back up here and just simply click Change Report Criteria. We're going to continue looking at yesterday, and then I'm going to show you the all sales detail by check. And this report is just simply a transaction view, so you can see what each customer is purchasing. This is a great report if you ever are off at the end of the day compared to your front till, to do a comparison to see what items might not have made it to that front counter. We'll go back to change criteria, and we'll go ahead and jump down to the sales by department. As I'm talking about balancing to your front till, this is a great report to utilize because the sales by department gives you a breakdown by the barcode. So we're breaking it out into Champs, hot, and store items, and that should match the 2 PLUs on your front system. So we want to make sure that this total matches on a daily basis. If your store is utilizing the cold program and doing EBT sales, that number will also be reflected here, but keep in mind that not all, just because you're selling to the cold case that day doesn't mean that it's actually being purchased that day. So your totals may not match up on the front system when it comes to store cold. So we'll go ahead and go back to change report criteria, and I'm going to do sales by category. This is a great report to access when you're thinking about what promotions you might want to run within your store. I know at the end of the year we usually do our big dollar tender sales, but for this particular location, they're selling tenders all day, so there's no need for them to take a loss on chicken tenders, at least at the individual level, because again, that's their biggest seller. So what we might want to do, if we look down through here, we'll see that family meals really aren't a big seller here at this particular location. So I'm going to go into view details and see what's going on here. So although my 1-piece chicken tender is a big seller, you can see that there's only one 8-piece chicken tender, and I don't see any 12-piece chicken tenders. So maybe it would be a great idea to highlight those products and run a promotion on them. Anytime you go into one of those drill down reports, you'll have to close out of the tab because it does open in another tab. So now I'm back to my sales by category report. So that's a quick overview of the sales detail that you can get. We do also track the voids and waste. So if we click on waste, we'll just go ahead and look at the last 7 days. We'll go ahead and look at Champs 4. And instead of looking at the waste detail, I'm just going to go look at the waste summary. So again, this is looking at a week's time, but it'll give you a breakdown of how much is being wasted. So you can really dive in and see what you might be overcooking or where you want to cut back on waste. So again, the goal with waste is to keep it under 5% of your daily sales. So I'm going to go back up to manage now, and we're going to talk a little bit about inventory. So if we go to manage inventory, I'm going to go ahead and look at this location, and we're going to look at last month. So when you're taking inventory, this first page, when you're ready to complete inventory, you can just hit select all. That will select all your items. This page can be customized to just the items that you're purchasing. So for instance, if you're not carrying our sweet and sassy barbecue, then we can remove that item so it doesn't show on your list. Makes it a little bit easier for your employees. You can print this list out, and then you're going to go around and take inventory based on the yield broke. So this will tell you if you're taking inventory by the case, the each, the bag, etc. Once you've taken your inventory, you can come over to current inventory and you can input those numbers. And you can see as you enter in your case count, it's going to show you how much inventory you have on hand. If you have our communication tablet, the portal is loaded as a tab on the COM tab, and you can simply access the portal and carry that communication tablet around and input these inventory counts as you're going. So that is certainly an option. You'll see here if we scroll down to the bottom, it's keeping a running total of how much inventory we have on hand as far as dollar amount. So $5,923.18. This number is actually going to flow over to the financial tab. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top here. And when I click on financials, you'll see it has my ending inventory. And then of course, this ending inventory is going to flow over to the beginning inventory for next month. You'll also see on the financial tab that we have our sales. This is the sales information that's being pushed up from the order management system, and that information is updated every 15 minutes. So very real time. And then we have purchases. So if we want to look at purchases, we can go over to invoices. And our goal here is that as you guys are receiving shipments in, we would like for you to come to the invoices tab. If we scroll down here, you can click add another, and it will allow you to select the vendor, input the date, the invoice amount, whether you're receiving cash or not, and then you'll just want to click save changes. Once you click that, then the total is updated, and again, that flows over to the financial tab. So once you take your month-end inventory, you can see exactly where your gross margin is. If you would like to go ahead and incorporate your MDF or VIR funds, you can reach out to your business advisor and they can provide that information for you. So if you want to also track labor, so you can see your total contribution, you can click that on the labor tab. And if you want, you can input by week, or you can just give a monthly total of inventory along with the number of hours. So I could just put June salaries, total number, we'll just say 360 hours, and total cost, we'll say 2,400. Once I click that save labor, then that is going to flow over here and will be input there. And now I would see my total contribution has gone down to 36%. Now I just pulled that number out of my head. I don't know what their labor actually is, but that gives you a quick overview. So again, we want to make sure when you're doing inventory that you are having the same person take inventory at the same time each month. So if you guys have any questions over the portal, feel free to reach out to us in customer success, or you can email myself or John Bertram at emily.twillman@pfsbrands.com. Thank you.